eclectic catalog. Talk about that. I mean, in terms of, you've got obviously a strong foothold in the hip hop community. You've just talked about the Middle East. Your back catalog, I think, is pretty interesting. I mean, when you think about the pockets of value, the pipeline, what should we know about Reservoir?
Well, I think, we've always taken a portfolio approach to building the catalog. So we never wanted to be pigeonholed as one thing or the other. And I think that's important because there is a cyclicality to music and there is trend. And so what may be, 80s music may be very popular today. It may go and take a break for a decade and then, come back in another decade. So I think it's important to take that portfolio approach. There's probably about $1.2 billion of deals in the pipeline now, and it is extremely diverse. As far as being publishing assets and recorded assets, it could be future signings, et cetera. We are focused on the right deals that are accretive to the company, that are complementary to the roster, and that we are taking an accurate approach to valuing. And I think, that's really our secret sauce, and that we know how these assets are going to behave within a good level of accuracy over time.
So when I see, first of all, first female founder and CEO of a publicly traded independent company, I want to unpack that a little bit. I prefer usually not to sort of focus on the fact that I'm talking to somebody as a woman, but since you are the first, why are there not more women? What is it that has, and even the fact that you're public, but let's start with just how you founded the company and why it's a space that you were alone.
Sure. So, music's always been a part of my life. I'm a classically trained pianist. I have grown up with music, sometimes forced, sometimes voluntary, practicing of music throughout my life. And my first job out of school was in advertising and then led to buy-side music licensing. And so more, business side of things. So I'm not really surprised that I'm here with music taking up so much mind share for me. Many years ago at a parent level of our family office, we acquired a company that specializes in the acquisition of royalty streams of pharmaceutical drugs and devices.
And remind us who your company is for those that don't know.
Sorry?
I said, remind us a little bit about your family. You said the family office, your dad, Hassan.
And so the family office is under the Purse's umbrella, has had business interests in real estate and shopping centers, a consumer electronics retail business called Future Shop, which was sold a couple decades ago. And the pharmaceutical royalty business is called DRI Healthcare Trust. And it was an interesting concept in that people were creating intellectual property and then monetizing that intellectual property over time. However counterintuitive it might sound, these inventors of drugs are not that different than these authors and composers of music in that they are creating intellectual property and monetizing that over a certain amount of time. So it was really the involvement in that business that forced me to start looking a little bit harder at the entertainment area and how people were monetizing intellectual property there. We didn't invent this by any means. Publishers have been around for decades, and we really just sought out to set up a business where we could invest in these rights because we really believed that there was going to be future value in content. Mm-hmm. And to do it slightly better than our competitors and to find a niche and to continue to scale the business.